Hey everybody, this is Dave from AskUncleDave.com. Welcome to part 3 of the Asustor AS3204T. This is a 4-bay NAS that we're installing 4 6TB Western Digital red drives. We set it to RAID 5 and we're getting about 16 terabytes of storage. That's a lot of storage. We did initialization of the 4 drives in RAID 5 and we set up a username and password and the admin. So now we're at the point where we're going to now take a look at the ADM that I have here. This is a web browser-based application that allows you to control your NAS and to use all of these apps that come with the NAS. These are all the standard apps. So my first step would be to go into my storage manager and see that I have the 4 drives and they're in good status, and I have 16 terabytes because the other terabytes that we are not getting is going to be used for parity. So it's synchronizing now, and that's going to take some time to do. I wouldn't go full-fledged playing around until the synchronizing process is done. Like I wouldn't transfer important files from another NAS or a hard drive that's connected to the USBs and push them over until you pretty much know that your drives are working good and everything is all set. So the first things first, we can go into settings here. So in settings, you're going to see general settings. You can set up how you want your sign up page to look. You got your network, and like I said, you can use a Wi-Fi dongle if you like. I don't have one hooked up right now, so it's just not going to do it. So we have this is our wired connection here. We're connected at full speed, and then you can also use a proxy. So we have VPN. You can add a VPN so that you use your internet connection that the NAS is using even when you're outside of the house. So we can do a video about that too as well. So you got date and time, and we have it syncing to the NTP server. So you got hardware, and you basically can control the fan speed and the power and all that stuff. You got notifications. So if you want, you can set up a notification to get sent to you by email or through Notification Center. It will show you like if somebody logged on or somebody logged off or somebody erased an app or somebody connected, or if the clock updated. It'll give you all kinds of notifications so you can keep an eye on your Asustor to make sure everything is running. If you have a drive fail, anything will show up. So you have a defender. So this is like a virus network defender. And then certification manager is good. You could set it up to export your certifications so that you get permissions and things like that. So we have the update here. This is running the latest 2.6.2 R6L2, and that's the latest ADM version that we're running right here. The Asustor is always working on improving their product. I get an email that tells you the newest ADM is out, or guess what, we have a new app and all that stuff. Now network recycle bin. This is something new in the last year or so. When you delete anything that you have on one of the the volume, like a movie or something like that, you could set it up to go into a recycle bin, just like on your computer. So if you ever need to retrieve that file, even like a week later, you can go into your recycle bin, and it's going to add a little folder in the folder. Like say we have a media folder in the home folder, it's going to add a little recycle folder, so you can go into that and grab whatever you want. So you can set it up for energy efficiency, and it's very efficient. It's gotten much more efficient than the 2-year-old product that I have. Now this is for factory reset. You can reset this to be just like out of the box, and then you have registration. So we're already registered, but you pretty much put your email in and you register. Now the important thing right here, this is like one of the first steps you want to do, is you want to set up ease of access. Now ease of access helps you with your firewall. It helps you to connect to your Asustor with a browser from another computer in Starbucks. It helps you to share your folders. It's just something you want to set up if you're going to be using your NAS outside of your home. So we're going to enable Cloud Connect, and it's already set up with my username, my Cloud ID, and basically your Cloud ID is whatever your name is. So mine is AskUncleDave, and it'll be .asustor.net or something like that. and you can use that, put it into your browser wherever you are remotely, and you can use your credentials and log in, and you will see exactly what you see here local in your house with this ADM that we have here. So Easy Router, it wants me to make sure that I apply. I'm going to hit apply. We're going to hit enable and apply. So that's Cloud Connect. We set that up. It says before you do that, do the Easy Router. So we're going to activate this Easy Router, and that's going to allow us to do the for our NAS to show up, and it's going to do the port forwarding and everything. Now, because I have another Asustor in my house, and it already has the port forwarding to a certain number, I just have to go in and tweak it a little bit, change a number or two, and it will add to the port forwarding. Now, before we do that, so we activated our Easy Router, and now we go to Cloud Connect, and we can click Cloud Connect and apply. You would pretty much be putting in what username you want to use and set up a password, and then you have your status. So we have it setting up now. So we have AskUncleDave. So now anytime I want to access my Asustor ADM portal, I can do AskUncleDave.myAsustor.com. So you just type that into any browser, and then you just put whatever username and password that you set up in the beginning of this video, and you're in. You go right into your ADM. You can control, download apps, you can manage files, things like that. So let's go back to Easy Router, and you're going to see Easy Router here, and it's actually found the two ports that are used to get outside of your firewall and stuff like that. So it worked out. Usually if you get little X's here, it's because you have another NAS. For some reason this time around it remembered what port number it's supposed to use. I'm really not showing you what it looks like when you first open this for yours. I'm pretty much showing you because I already have a username set up. So you can set up DDNS for people who know what that is all about, which is pretty good. So basically now we're set up to be able to connect outside of the home. Now what I meant by outside of the home, so say I have my other router here, I have a shortcut up here, and you pretty much click it here and you can load right into it. This is over the internet. See, it says Dave 01568. That's my older Asustor at my Asustor, and it automatically logged in because it remembered my password and stuff like that. But you can have it set up where it doesn't save your password in Safari, you know, whatever. So we have the other one here, and we're in. This is wide area network connecting to my NAS at home. Okay, but let's go back to the one that's local in our house, and we're going to hit refresh here. And now that we configured it for the first time, it's going to say ready. Okay, so now I have two NASs. One has the 4 3 terabyte drives, and then my newest one here with the higher RAM and higher processing, it has 4 6 terabyte drives. So we have the arrow here. Original was admin, and we save. Now you can click this so it doesn't show up anymore like that. Alright, so we've seen settings now, and now you can see external devices that are hooked up to the USBs. You would see them all here. You would see your Wi-Fi dongle. You can even see a Bluetooth dongle. You have all different external devices that connect to the NAS by a wire. So that's that. Then you have access control, and these are your shared folders. Now I set it up with all the folders being able to share. You can set it up so that you don't share. You could set it up for guests to have access to it, and you could set up guests to have access without read or write. And you know, it's all what you want for all the clients and all your employees that are going to connect to this. Basically, you could set up all this access control so that you manage who can look at what folder and delete or add to it or whatever. Okay, so we have local users. We have the different settings here. You can add folders, create folders. You can create shared folders, and like when you're using something like Plex, you're going to have a shared folder. So I have home, and I can share that, and Plex will have access to it. I'll show you something else in settings. So we have access control, we have the external disk, we have system information. It'll pretty much tell you what's going on with the system, your network, and all that stuff. And then you have Dr. Asustor. You can actually run that so it can figure out problems. And anytime that you need help, you can pretty much go and do a search, or you can click here and change different things like restart and reset. And it also has a help center here, online help, so you can go through, and it pretty much gives you, solves problems that you may have or whatever. Now, what else? We have services. So services are important. Now, in your home, you can share your Asustor different ways. You can share the Windows way, which is pretty much SMB, Samba, they call it. And it will show up like in shared computers in your home. You can check out, different videos and stuff like that by having the NAS serve it up. You have Mac, and Mac is pretty much AFP, and that's their file transfer. And then I have that set. We're going to have that set to on. We're going to have, I'm going to hit yes. So we're going to enable this, and we're going to hit apply. Always hit apply before you go on to the next heading. So then we got Windows, we hit apply, we have that, it's already applied. We have NFS, if you want to enable that. I want to enable FTP server, and it will set up a port for you. So basically all these things get set up for you. It knows what it needs to do. Sometimes you have to tweak it a little bit, maybe go to 22. You can set up your different FTP, and you can use an FTP client like CyberDuck, but it also has an FTP client built in right here so that you can connect via FTP. Now, FTP is good because when you're backing up stuff from, like, say, your computer, you have a bunch of files, and you connect AFP or you connect with Samba. If your computer shuts down, battery goes out, or you have a power surge or something like that, it's not going to remember where it left off. With FTP, it's good because it kind of remembers your last session, and it remembers what it was downloading. So FTP clients and FTP servers, they work great because they remember where you left off. So you won't lose any data. Basically, when you're copying, when you're moving some files from one device like a USB drive or a computer drive to a NAS or vice versa, you pretty much want to use FTP. You pretty much want to use, you want to copy. You don't want to move. You don't want to move files, because if something gets interrupted, you probably will lose it. But with FTP, it kind of remembers where you are. But the best thing to do, best rule of thumb, is to copy from drive to drive. That way, if it stops mid-process. Now, we have WebDAV server, so you can do all your WebDAV. You have web server, you have Maria DB, and you have terminal, so you can run SSH. You have rsync server. Now, the rsync server is a way to back up from NAS to NAS, or from your local NAS to a remote NAS. Pretty much, this thing's for services is pretty much a way to connect drive to drive, or NAS to NAS, or file to file, or transfer to transfer. So it's pretty much services is for transferring and setting all up. Now, speaking of backing up, this says backup and restore. This is a way to restore from a drive. You can use remote sync, so NAS to NAS, from local to a distal NAS, or you can have FTP backup, like I said, FTP, and you could do internal backup, so you can go from file to file inside the NAS, and then you have external backup, where you hook up a hard drive to the NAS and you create a job. Now, with backup and restore heading, this one here, you basically are setting it up so that it runs the initial time, and then it actually can run on a schedule, and it will back up what is new onto your NAS. So you don't have to re-back up the entire volume. You basically set it up in backup and restore to set up so that you can export and import data to wherever via schedule, via incremental backups, and things that are new on that drive that you're setting up for backup. So that's what backup and restore is. Storage manager, basically, you see it's 2%. It's taking a while. It's going to build, and after it builds, it's going to be running efficiently, and everything's going to work great. Now, File Explorer. Let's do Activity Monitor, so you basically can see what's going on with your CPU and your memory and your disk usage. Basically stats of what's going on. System, we got all that out of the way. Now let's go into our actual file browser. So this is like, we're going to trust Java because it runs on Java. It's going to restart. We're going to hit here. So basically, this is your File Explorer, or your Finder, like you would have in Windows and Mac. So, and Linux and all that stuff. Every computer or every system has a file management. So when you first start out, you have Home folder. That's basically where all you're going to store all your apps. Like Plex, it makes its own folder, but basically you pretty much store everything into here. So I'm going to show you on my older NAS. If I open up my older NAS software, you're going to see in here that I have Plex separate, and then in Home I have my media, which is all my movies and TV shows, music, all of my music, terabytes worth, and all my pictures, terabytes worth, and then storage like apps and things like that. So I pretty much make it so that it shows up in my Home folder, and as you install apps, you're definitely going to be making folders as you go. So this list will get longer. Now you have access to your external devices that you have, USBs connected. You have virtual devices. You have your recycle bin. Now this is where you find your recycle bin if you enable a recycle bin for the particular folders or apps that you have. And then you could also see your computers here. I didn't actually get into that, but you could have a share link manager, so you can share files that are from your NAS to people via email, and then basically, or your share link manager, you can expire them or have them automatically expire, and things like that. If you wanted to hook up to your NAS, you can connect to your NAS, and since we have AFP for Mac checked off, we can connect to the AFP. Now watch this. Let me just minimize this, and I'm going to show you something. So we'll minimize this. Alright, and then I can connect it with AFP because the NAS is allowing me to connect AFP in the settings, access control. So we're going to connect to the AFP. Now watch this. It shows up on your Mac as a drive. So you have any one of the 4 folders that you saw in the File Explorer. And here's Home, and I can connect and mount a drive. So basically, you're doing this over your internet, and it's almost like taking your NAS and having a USB and plugging it in. You connect with AFP, and now you have access to that folder. The folder actually shows up on your desktop or wherever in your Finder. You can click on Finder, and it will pop up, and you'll see now that I can get into my NAS. This is my old NAS, and go into any one of my folders, and I can pretty much take a file and drag and drop, or I can take a file from here and drag and drop. I can right mouse button, copy, paste, do whatever I want. I have a file, boom, throw it in a folder. I have a movie, MP4, MP3, boom, throw it in. So management, you really don't need to use the ADM to access the drives. You can use AFP and Samba and all those other systems. So the other thing is the FTP. You can click on that, and you just basically connect into whatever the IP address is, the username and password, and you connect in, and you can use the FTP software to transfer files back and forth. So there's a lot you can do with this. It's like I said, from what I showed you in the ADM, it's all basic stuff, very simple stuff. It's not very complex. It pretty much figures things out for you. You can tweak them here and there, but basically it's click and play. It's, plug it in and play. You don't have to have a big, deep knowledge of computers and things like that to run this, to use it, and to get
all the uses you can out of it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button, and please subscribe. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll make a video of it. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.